Welcome to Coach David Schuman's Success for Life podcast, where Coach Schuman tackles the important topics and interviews the very best in business, sports, and leadership to help you maximize your success. If you're looking to get the most out of everything you do, then listen now to the Success for Life podcast.
The art of doing your very best. I'm going to go through 5 things that people can do today that can help you become your very best. One of the biggest mistakes that people make in athletics, business, and those are always my 2 main focuses are athletic and business, because I've been a football coach for 16 years now and have operated my business for almost as long, actually 16 years. So, and I've ridden the highs and lows of that. And as an athlete myself, playing Division I football at the University of Connecticut and riding the highs and lows of being a starter, to being out for a year, to having to come back, to being a starter and grinding to have that success again. I think I've learned a ton about what it takes to be your very best. And it's something that's a daily struggle for every single human being on earth that tries to be successful in what they do. And I want to give you some things that can help you, at least in the process of trying to be your very best. Number 1, understanding what your actionable goals are. And what do I mean by that is you have things that you want to accomplish either on a daily or yearly basis or monthly basis, and you have to have actions for those things in order to accomplish them. So for example, if your goal in business is to generate $500,000 in sales in the next 6 months, okay, you have to have actionable items that are going to take care of each of those things. So let's start with some things that could be actionable in order to do that. Number 1, create a Facebook ads campaign targeting the New York City marketplace in finance, okay, or financial planning, something along those lines. You target that, and then you have the opportunity then to run those ads and generate leads. So that's a step towards being your best and making that an actionable goal. Another specific actionable goal might be to hire 5 salesmen on a commission level, giving them 20% commission for every sale that they get, and trying to generate for them 100 leads a week that they can follow up on. That's an actionable goal that you're going to provide for people that work for you in order to generate an opportunity for you to get those sales. So actionable goals. It's not enough to just have $500,000 in the next 6 months as sales. You have to have actionable goals behind it. So that's the first and most important thing. The second thing that's real important and critical to being your very best is to have a process that you go through every single day in order to take steps towards your actionable goals. So what is your process? How do you come up with ideas? How do you brainstorm? How do you figure out ways to do things? Okay? If you're an athlete and your goal is to be first team all-county defensive back, and you're going to do that by training 5 times a week, for an hour a day, a half hour on strength, a half hour on speed, and then 2 times per week catching balls every single week. Those are actual goals. Then the process is how you go about doing that. Okay. When you go out and catch balls, all right, you're going to catch 50 balls each time. You're going to have your eyes on the ball as it comes all the way in. You're going to extend your arms. You're going to pull the ball all the way in. So secure the football, turn upfield and run. Okay, there's your process. You have your actionable goals. You have your process. You have to have that every single day in order to take steps towards your actionable goals. So that's number 2, having a process. So number 1 is having actionable goals. Number 2 is having a process to reach those actionable goals. Okay. Number 3 is to have a long-term vision. Okay, long-term vision. A long-term vision is what is it that you dream about at the highest level in accomplishing? Not just goals, but what do you dream about being? When you have that vision has to be drawn out or written out, whether you're a visual person or textual person, or even if you're someone that's an audio person, you have to have a way that you can remind yourself of your vision every single day. Every single day, you have to remind yourself of your vision, okay? A vision is Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. NASA's vision and John F. Kennedy's vision was to put a man on the moon. That was the vision. They had a lot of actionable goals along the way, a lot of processes that were in place, but the vision was to put a man on the moon, okay? And you have to make sure you have the vision. And once that vision did get accomplished, no one could forget Neil Armstrong taking the very first steps and landing on the moon. Okay, so number 3 is having a vision. Number 4, accountability. You must be accountable to all of those things: your vision, your actionable goals, and your processes. How are you judging yourself? And how are you holding yourself accountable, or having someone else that is holding you accountable? You must be held accountable for all of the things that you have as actionable goals, your processes, and your vision. Holding yourself accountable requires a self-reporting process, tracking, okay? A self-reporting process and tracking of what is getting done. This could simply being a checklist, okay? And I see all the time people say you shouldn't have a to-do list. It disappoints you. It lets you down. There's a difference between having a checklist and a to-do list. And you make it simple. You have that accountable thing that you have to have for you each week. And you limit it. You limit it to somewhere between 3 and 10 items that each week you're accountable for. And you can put that on a monthly basis as well, or a yearly basis. If you're doing it on a yearly basis, that goes along with your vision and your actionable goals, and you might have 3 items. On a weekly basis, somewhere between 3 and 10 items that you can hold yourself accountable, that you can say, yes, I did, or I didn't. And I listen to when people say, I'll get rid of your to-do list. However you do it, you need to have a checklist. You could do it in Evernote, which is a program that you could use on your computer. You could use it with paper and post it on your wall. You have to be accountable to yourself in order to have the actual ability to be able to reach the next step. Number 5, this is maybe the most important thing. You must create a reward system for yourself. How are you rewarding yourself for each process along the way? How are you rewarding yourself for accountability? In football, as a football coach, we have a very defined reward system, okay? As a team, wins and losses is a very, 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 very definitive reward system. At the end of the year, you can see your record and have a pretty good idea, okay, if you accomplished all of those things that you wanted to as a team. As an individual, okay, as a coach, you can have all those items that you have, and maybe wins and losses wasn't your only measurable thing. So you might have to have a reward system based off of participation. You might have a reward system based off of what percentage of guys got in the weight room this year versus last year. You might have a reward system that measures, okay, a reward system that measures you for how many points you scored in the season, okay? As an individual, as a skill player, your reward may be how many touchdowns you scored. But a better reward system would be how many touchdowns you scored, and then how many times you then rewarded the lineman who blocked for you or the quarterback who threw you the ball. Create a reward system. So once you have that as your reward, a win or a loss or a touchdown, then you create on top of that reward system what I call supplemental rewards. If you accomplished your rewards and your goals in a game or in a week or in a month, okay, you might take yourself out to dinner, something small. Okay, if you're in a relationship, you might reward your spouse by taking them somewhere. Small rewards that reinforce the fact that you're doing the right thing from a process standpoint, from accountability standpoint, from a vision standpoint. You must make sure that you take care of those things. Creating a reward system is the feedback that you need in order to keep doing each one of those other 4 areas. So, number 1, actionable goals. Number 2, having a process. Number 3, having a vision. Number 4, accountability and reporting. And number 5, having a reward system that you can track to make sure you are reinforced with proper feedback, positive and negative, in order to be able to accomplish everything and to be your very best. Being your very best, if you follow those 5 steps, you will create the opportunity to be your very best. Being your very best doesn't mean that you are matching or competing with anybody other than yourself. By learning to compete with yourself, you will then be able to compete with others effectively in whatever you need to do. You will learn to help others effectively. You will be able to figure out things that are most important to you. And to be your very best means the best that you possibly can do, and not beating yourself up by comparing yourself to others, but being your very best, being your best competitor in order to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in your life, in your career, in your athletics.